Imagine for a second standing at the edge of a vast ocean, the water representing the unknown, the unfamiliar, the new. This is the daily reality for millions of people living in emigration. They've left behind the comfort of their homeland, venturing into uncharted territories, not by choice, but by circumstance. Their journey is one of resilience, adaptation, and survival, shaped by a unique psychology that we're about to explore. It's a psychology that turns perceived weaknesses into hidden strengths, a psychology that redefines the concept of home, and a psychology that, as psychologist Yuri Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory suggests, is constantly interacting with and being influenced by their new environment. But what drives these individuals to not just survive, but thrive in their new worlds? Let's dive in and find out. The human brain is a remarkable organ, capable of adapting to various environments and contexts. One of the most fascinating adaptations is the concept of cognitive code switching, a term borrowed from linguistics where individuals switch between languages. In the context of psychology, it refers to the mental process of shifting between different cultural frameworks or operating systems. Take, for instance, a person who migrates from Japan to the United States. In their professional life, they might adopt American norms of direct communication and individualism, but at home, they revert to Japanese values of indirectness and collectivism. This constant switching is not just about behavior, it's a deep cognitive process that involves altering thought patterns, values, and even emotional expressions. It's like having two different software programs running simultaneously, each with its own interface, shortcuts, and functionalities. This phenomenon is closely linked to the concept of bicultural identity integration from the field of social psychology, which explores how individuals blend their cultural identities into a cohesive whole. Consider Maria, a Brazilian woman living in Germany. At work, she might emphasize punctuality, efficiency, and formal interactions, aligning with German cultural norms. However, during weekends with her Brazilian friends, she switches to a more relaxed, expressive, and communal style. This code switching is not merely situational, it involves a cognitive shift that affects her decision-making, problem-solving, and even memory recall. Studies have shown that bilingual individuals often experience this cognitive flexibility, but for those living in emigration, it extends beyond language to encompass a broad spectrum of cultural behaviors and norms. This constant mental juggling act can be exhausting, akin to continually switching between different software applications on a computer. Yet, it also fosters a unique cognitive agility, allowing individuals to navigate diverse social landscapes with ease. The ability to code switch cognitively is not without its challenges. It requires a high level of cognitive control, a term from cognitive psychology that refers to the brain's ability to regulate and coordinate its functions. This control is similar to the concept of executive function, which includes processes like planning, working memory, and mental flexibility. For immigrants, this means constantly monitoring their environment and adjusting their behavior accordingly. It's like being a conductor in an orchestra, ensuring that all instruments play in harmony with the current cultural tune. This constant vigilance can lead to mental fatigue, a phenomenon known as ego depletion, where the brain's resources are drained after prolonged periods of self-regulation. However, it also builds resilience and adaptability, traits that are invaluable in an increasingly globalized world. Moreover, cognitive code switching can have profound implications for identity and self-concept. According to the social identity theory by Henri Tajfel and John Turner, individuals derive a sense of self from their group memberships. For immigrants, this means constantly negotiating between different cultural identities. They must reconcile the values and norms of their heritage culture with those of their host culture. This process is not always smooth and can lead to feelings of alienation or confusion. Yet, it also offers an opportunity for personal growth and self-discovery. By navigating these complex cultural landscapes, immigrants often develop a more nuanced and multifaceted sense of self. They learn to appreciate the diversity of human experiences and to integrate different cultural perspectives into their worldview. This cultural synthesis is a testament to the brain's remarkable ability to adapt and evolve, even in the face of the most challenging circumstances. Living in emigration is often accompanied by a sense of confusion, a feeling of being perpetually overwhelmed by the unfamiliar. Yet, this confusion is not a sign of weakness or inadequacy, but rather an indication of high-level processing. The brain of an immigrant is like a sophisticated computer, absorbing and processing vast amounts of data daily. Consider a simple grocery trip. For a local, it's a routine task, a quick check of the shopping list, a familiar path through the aisles. But for an emigrant, it's a complex mission. Each aisle is a new language, each product a puzzle to decipher. Labels must be read, prices compared, brands evaluated. It's not just about buying food, it's about understanding a different culture, different preferences, different priorities. In a single trip, an emigrant absorbs more data than a local does in a week. This high-level processing is not limited to grocery trips. It's present in every aspect of life in emigration. From navigating public transport to understanding social cues, from deciphering legal documents to making small talk with neighbors, every task requires extra cognitive effort. It's like living in a foreign language movie without subtitles. You catch some words, you guess some, but you miss a lot. This constant state of heightened awareness and processing is exhausting, but it's also a sign of incredible mental agility and adaptability. Psychologists refer to this phenomenon as cognitive load. It's the amount of mental effort being used in the working memory. For immigrants, the cognitive load is often high, as they are constantly learning, adapting, and processing new information. This high cognitive load can lead to feelings of overwhelm and confusion, but it also builds mental muscles. It enhances problem-solving skills, improves memory, and increases cultural intelligence. It's a form of mental exercise, a daily workout for the brain. Moreover, this high-level processing is a form of sensory processing sensitivity, a term coined by psychologist Elaine Aron. It refers to the increased awareness and processing of stimuli from the environment. Highly sensitive people, like many immigrants, process information deeply and thoroughly. They are more affected by their surroundings, but they also gain a richer understanding of them. This sensitivity is not a weakness, but a strength. It allows emigrants to navigate complex social and cultural landscapes, to adapt to new environments, and to grow from their experiences. It's a testament to their resilience and their capacity for growth. This constant state of learning and adapting, this high-level processing, is what fuels their journey of integration and acculturation. You stand at the crossroads of two worlds, a third culture kid in the making. Your old culture is no longer a perfect fit, yet the new one isn't quite comfortable either. This is cultural dissonance, a psychological state where conflicting cultural norms create internal tension. It's not a comfortable place to be, but it's a powerful one. Like a bicultural individual in social psychology studies, you navigate between cultures, a skill that breeds adaptability and resilience. Imagine sitting at a family dinner in your new country, the noise of laughter and clinking glasses filling the air. You notice the way your new friends assert their opinions, a stark contrast to the reserved discussions you grew up with. You see the value in both, the openness fosters connection, while the reserve allows for deep listening. This is your superpower, cultural metacognition. You don't just adapt, you understand. You see the cracks in both cultures, and in doing so, gain a 3D view of reality. This perspective makes you a bridge builder. You translate not just words, but values. You spot opportunities for synergy that others miss. It's like having a mental map of different cultural landscapes, allowing you to navigate and connect them. But with this power comes solitude. Others might see you as an outsider in both cultures, a perpetual foreigner. This is the cost of your unique perspective. Yet, it's also a protection. You're less likely to be blinded by cultural biases, more likely to question norms and forge your own path. This ability to hold multiple cultural perspectives is akin to what psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi describes as a flow state in cultural navigation. You're not just moving between cultures, you're creating harmony within them. You're not just adapting, you're innovating. This is your strength, your optimized perspective. And it's not just about you. Your unique view can foster understanding, break down barriers, and create change. It's a powerful thing, this ability to see the cracks and the beauty in both worlds. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And it's just the beginning. In the intricate dance of cross-cultural communication, language barriers and social gaps can be seen as calibration errors in a highly complex machine. Think of it like a robot navigating an unfamiliar environment. It's not that the robot is faulty or the environment is hostile, it's simply a matter of fine-tuning. The robot, much like a person in a new culture, needs time to adjust its sensors, interpret new signals, and respond appropriately. Consider the concept of code switching, a linguistic practice where individuals alternate between two or more languages or varieties of language in a single conversation. This isn't just about translation, it's about understanding context, tone, and intent. A misstep here isn't a failure but a calibration error. For instance, a direct translation of a phrase might not account for cultural nuances. A Japanese person saying "first think" in English might not realize that this phrase is often used as a softener in their native language, but can come across as indecisive or uncertain in English. It's not a social gaffe, it's a calibration error in the complex machine of cross-cultural communication. Moreover, social gaffes can be seen as misinterpretations of cultural scripts. Psychologist Robert Levine's concept of cultural syntax suggests that cultures have their own unique patterns of behavior, much like language has syntax. A misstep in this cultural syntax isn't a personal failure but a misunderstanding of the cultural script. For example, in some cultures, prolonged eye contact is a sign of respect and engagement, while in others, it can be seen as confrontational or disrespectful. It's not about who's right or wrong, it's about calibrating one's behavior to fit the cultural context. This calibration process is akin to the concept of cognitive flexibility, the brain's ability to switch between different concepts or tasks. It's not just about learning new words or phrases, it's about adapting one's thought processes to fit new cultural contexts. This requires mental effort, much like a machine recalibrating its sensors. But with time and practice, these calibration errors decrease and communication becomes smoother. It's not about avoiding errors, it's about learning from them and adjusting accordingly. After all, even the most advanced machines need constant calibration to function optimally. You've navigated the labyrinth of foreign bureaucracies, deciphered cultural codes that baffle textbooks, and struck up conversations in languages you once considered insurmountable. This is your global intelligence, GQ, in action, a hard-earned skill that thrives in the tension of the unfamiliar. It's not about knowing the capitals or the currency, it's about understanding the unspoken rules, the subtle cues, the invisible threads that bind societies together. You've become a cultural chameleon, adapting to survive, but also to connect. It's like what the psychologist Yuri Bronfenbrenner called the ecological systems theory, where your development is shaped by the interaction of different environmental systems. Your GQ is the product of these interactions, a unique blend of personal experiences and cultural adaptations. Consider the expat who effortlessly switches between hand gestures, tone of voice, and even humor to fit different social contexts. This isn't mere mimicry, it's a sophisticated form of social intelligence. Research on multicultural personalities shows that those who live abroad tend to develop a heightened ability to read social cues and adapt their behavior accordingly. They become adept at code switching, a term originally from linguistics that describes the practice of alternating between different linguistic varieties. But for you, it's more than language, it's a complete shift in social software. You've learned to navigate the digital world of a new culture, understanding the nuances of online etiquette, the importance of certain platforms, and the unspoken rules of virtual communication. Yet, this ability to adapt isn't just a party trick. It's a survival skill, a defense mechanism honed by necessity. Think of it as a form of cultural immunity, a term inspired by psychological concepts of resilience. You've been exposed to the germs of cultural misunderstandings, and instead of falling ill, you've built up an immunity. Each misstep, each awkward moment, has strengthened your ability to understand and navigate different cultural landscapes. You've learned to question your own cultural norms, to see them not as universal truths, but as one version of many. This is the essence of your GQ, a profound understanding that the world is not as it appears through the lens of your culture of origin. It's a humbling realization, but also an empowering one. You're no longer a passive observer, you're an active participant in the grand cultural mosaic. And this understanding, this GQ, is your secret superpower. It's what allows you to move through the world with a sense of ease and belonging, no matter where you are. But it's also what makes you crave the next challenge, the next unfamiliar friction to forge your GQ even further. Cultural psychologist Hazel Marcus introduced the concept of possible selves, arguing that our identities are not singular but rather a constellation of potential futures and past experiences. For those living in emigration, this notion is particularly resonant. The idea of a split identity often arises, a belief that one is torn between cultures, languages, and ways of life. Yet, this perspective is not just incomplete, it's fundamentally flawed. Think of it like an outdated computer metaphor. You don't have a split identity, you have a multi-core processor for a brain. Picture a software engineer who grew up in Tokyo but now lives in Berlin. She effortlessly switches between Japanese and German, her thoughts flowing seamlessly between languages. She navigates both cultures with ease, drawing on a rich tapestry of experiences. This is not a sign of a divided self but of a mind that has learned to integrate, to parallel process, much like a multi-core processor handling multiple tasks simultaneously. It's a strength, not a weakness. It's cognitive flexibility, a trait that psychologists like Diana L. Quijet and colleagues have linked to better problem-solving and creativity. But how does this work in practice? Consider the concept of code switching, not just in language but in cultural norms and behaviors. A person in emigration might switch between direct communication styles and more indirect, context-dependent ones depending on the situation. This isn't indecision, it's adaptability. It's the brain's remarkable ability to access different cultural toolkits, a phenomenon anthropologist Kiran Narayan calls cultural intelligence. It's like having multiple apps open on your phone, each serving a different purpose but all contributing to your overall functionality. Moreover, this multi-core processing can lead to a deeper understanding of both cultures. It's not about splitting or dividing the self but about expanding it. Philosophers like Blaise Pascal might argue that this is a form of divertissement, a distraction from the void, but in reality, it's much more. It's a rich, complex tapestry of experiences that enrich the individual. It's a constant negotiation, a dynamic interplay between different cultural scripts. And it's a testament to the human capacity for integration, for synthesis. It's not a split identity, it's a multi-core mind. The emigrant's journey is not just about physical relocation, but a profound psychological transformation. Their shyness, once seen as a weakness, is a testament to their heightened sensitivity, a trait known as sensory processing sensitivity, which makes them deep thinkers and empathetic individuals. Their perceived laziness is actually a form of energy conservation, a strategy to navigate the constant change and uncertainty. Their anger, instead of being a destructive force, is a boundary-setting mechanism, protecting their sense of self in a foreign environment. Remember, emigrants are not just survivors, they are thrivers, turning challenges into opportunities for growth. If you've ever felt like an outsider, if you've ever had to start over, you understand the strength it takes to be an emigrant. You might be next in line to start a new journey, to move to a new country, or to adapt to a new environment. When you do, remember this: your unique perspective is your superpower. Embrace it, nurture it, and use it to connect with others who are also navigating the complex psychology of emigration. We've explored the hidden strengths of emigrants, but there's so much more to uncover. In our next video, we'll delve into the concept of cultural identity and how it shapes our sense of self. We'll discuss how emigrants often find themselves at the intersection of multiple cultures, creating a unique, hybrid identity. If you're curious about how culture shapes who we are, stay tuned. And remember, whether you're an emigrant or not, understanding these concepts can help you connect with others on a deeper level. So, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into the fascinating world of psychology. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep embracing your unique journey.